Hi and welcome to this video tutorial on how to make quotations and make reservations on Explo. This video would rather be a longer version of what you might have seen before because I'm going to do a detailed explanation of how to make a quotation from scratch, which involves quite a number of details. But not to worry. After I've shown you the exhaustive session on that, is I'll show you also how to make a quick quotation from an existing template, which is a very much easier and speedy process of how to actually do that. Before we get into that, this video also assumes that you've watched the getting started video, which touches on the once-off things that are done on Explo, which is the user settings and settings for the company, which deals with issues on what information is reflecting on your company, invoices, your itineraries, travel documents, and so forth. That getting started would have touched on the financial VAT schemes, currencies, and it would have touched on your partners that you deal with in your business, which are your customers, agencies, and suppliers, and so forth. It also assumes that you have touched on the system overview video, which shows you how to maneuver uh, in the entire system and how to get to a reservation, what to see in a reservation, and so forth. Okay. Without wasting too much time, but pretty much more important is to know that before one makes a quotation or a reservation, you need to have a customer that is set up on there. Right in front of you, that grid shows you a number of customers that are already set up on there. But just for illustration purposes, if you need to create one, you would simply click on this create new tab. I'll create a fictitious one, which I'll call probably my cousin name. Let's call that person Tim, for example. Doesn't have a name. I'll call them Tim Jackson. Can title Mr. I'll try to use information that's already on the system so that we don't really waste too much time and concentrate on the things that we really need to carry on. I'll put the date of birth. You can assign this if you're already a user and you're one of the consultants, myself being Mr. Sam Jackson. I'll put myself there. Contact details, I'll put what we have on the system. On there, I'll pre-populate on what we already have. I'll put just the Johannesburg. Can copy and paste information on there. Passport number, I'll put fictitious numbers there for just for training purposes that you can see client how is start something that you can remember for the client, and I'll save that client. That's Tim Jackson has been created on there. So, okay. In case you ever need to amend details for the client, you simply click on the pencil here icon and you can actually come back to those details and you can amend those details on there. Okay. So we'll quickly move on to the reservations tab. And we are going to create a quotation from scratch, which is the long process which I mentioned that time. So in this tab, you can go on to the create new. Here, you've got an option to create a quotation, which you send to the client for them to accept or so forth. Or if you're sure that they're already making a reservation and they're on the phone with you, you can actually make a reservation straight away. Right? I'll call up my client name here, Tim Jackson, and this option gives you access to templates if you want to create product based on what you've created before, which is the quick option. I'll show you that later, but for now we're going with no option. So we're going the long route, like I said. Okay. There is your reservation here. It's got your client details, currently blank on the financials because you've not done anything, so that's blank. I'll start by putting a service. On the various services, depending on what you want, I'll try to start with that cruise. And we can actually select travel dates from the 28th of March, say, to the 31st of March, right? So, depending on the prices that you've had from your suppliers that you've chosen, say, for example, this package that they're doing, 10,000 Rand, and you're making a margin of 2,000 Rand. You can see already as I'm inputting the values here, the summarized information on the financials is being inserted as well. In case you've got a service fee that you need to add on there, you would put the amount on there. Right? So yeah. So most importantly, you would need to click the details of the service and be able to put the information that's applicable for this. You can choose what meal basis, full board. This cost and margin is already copied from the information that we've put already. Service starts at 2 o'clock. Checkout is at 10 o'clock on that date. Okay, service is available. I'll put a reference here. Just in case we need to put that, I'll put a different value. How many adults are in this room or in this cabin? There's 2 adults, there's no infants. In case there is a cancellation amount, this information that we're putting now will reflect on the reservation document that we are giving to the client. Applicable cancellation policy. Depending on the product and service that you're putting, you can say meals are included on the inclusions, drinks. If there's any changes, a fee will be levied. You can even specify what amount of a fee will be levied for that if you need. Any special requests are subject to availability. Yeah. So you can put any different information that you actually need for that. Save the document. Right? So if you want to add an additional service, for example, if the clients are doing flights on the very day as well, you can add service and you can specify the supplier that these are put to 28 and for flights. You actually need to quickly jump onto the service itself where you're gonna put in the details or quickly populate that here. Say for example, that's flights affair. It's available. What is the reference? Okay, the reference. Let me put the other one here, which is a fly 100. Is 2 adults and booking code by BSA. Cancellation policy. If there's any change policies that you need to put in there, one day, for example, I'll just put this text for example purposes. Today, if there's any notes that you actually need to put for the client is check-in is 3 hours before departure. Right. And I'll just copy in these alternate details that we've copied from Amadeus or any applicable system, your GDS. And here you would actually come and select travelers' names that you would have put already. I currently have Team Jackson here, and I'll put the details of how much his flight is costing. There's a markup of that. sure that you've become familiar with. And if there's any ticket number, you can actually put their references on there. 200. So you would validate the details and actually save the documents. That's how you actually insert a flight on there. But we only did the flight for team. So in case you had a number of passengers other than Mr. Tim, you would have put them here already. Here I'm just putting, for example, purposes, how you would actually have that. And you can have add passengers by simply clicking this green button here. I'll just put put the age here and also some fictitious details here, but just merely for training purposes. On this field here for date of birth, you can go with the option of clicking the calendar, or you might find it a little bit easier to just go with typing in the details in case that person is a bit older. So you need not need to scroll a little bit more up on the calendar itself. I'll put more details here to 20. So at least now we've got two passengers on here. On this section here, this is merely for communication purposes within your organization. So you can put details that you need here to communicate with your fellow colleagues in the office. For example, I've requested hotel and transfers. Right? So this information anybody can actually view that information. Communications tab is any emails that will be sent out to the clients who appear here. I'll show you a little bit later. And if there's any history, the system is logging in what is happening and who's doing what on the system, on the reservation on there. This is how basically you create a quotation on the putting passengers and putting services as we've done here. You notice a few changes from when we move from a quotation to a reservation. Currently, there is preview quote and pro forma, and you can send documents or export one function that's quite important, the export template. So just in case I want to use this template again in the future, I'll say this is a two-sleeper unit that I've booked with flights. Correct. I'll show you a bit later where it will appear. In case I want to use it in future, I'll export this as a saved product on there. We'll come back to that when we're doing the quick reservation option that we make. Right. At this stage, you can preview a quotation that you wanted to send. As you can see, we've got the passengers' details that we've put on the reservation listed here. We've got the details of the company, the customer, agency, which is our own agency, the demo travel, and we've got the client details here and their reservation number that is put on there. We've got the first service, which was the cruise cabins, meal basis, inclusions, meals, drinks, any special requests, cancellation amounts. You remember the information that we've put. And we've also got one passenger, Mr. Tim, that we've put the flights details on here, right? And along with that reservation document, you've got banking details and the amounts that you put, terms and conditions that you would put to accompany this document. So this can actually, this is a preview for internal, but the same documents can actually be sent out. The pro forma invoice pretty much looks the same as the reservation document, and you want to send these documents to the client, you can come here and you can select which documents you need. The information is pre-populated with the customer email address, and you can send the documents out to them. Email has been done. Okay. That's as far as creating a quotation is. Other good to have is you can actually attach passport copies. You can choose files and upload those documents on the client. You can see that the client is not accepted the quotation as yet, but if they ever do, when you send them the documents, this accepted will change to a yes and to have a timestamp that they would have done that. Right. Client has accepted this quotation and they want us to convert it to a reservation. You simply come on actions and create a reservation on there. Right. The moment you do that, you see that there will be additional fields that come in, which are the customer payments and outstanding. And there's also a bit of extra fields here that's come in. Just take a quick look. You see here on the communications tab, there's already an email that has been sent, the one that we send documents. And in case the client has accepted and etc., this is the total price of the booking and showing you what margin percentage you're making and what is the margin value. You're making 3,000 out of this booking. Then you can actually receipt clients' funds. You can select a date where the monies have been received. In case, say, they want to pay 5,000 Rand on the booking, you just click elsewhere and it will show you that you have received 5,000 Rand from the client and the customer is still owing 19,500 Rand. From this option, one can actually send the clients the document for the receipt. It gives you a message that the email has been sent. Just in case you needed to attach anything, whenever you're sending documents, you can actually choose more documents that you need to attach to that particular client and send them with. It could be brochures, it could be anything, because this menu is also available on the actions of sending documents. You can see here under actions, now you have sent documents, you can send supplier requests, you can update exchange rates in case you have suppliers that are foreign currency denominated, or you can actually cancel the reservation if the client actually asks you to do so. Under the documents menu, you now have the pro forma invoice, you got vouchers in the itinerary, right? Important one to have is the client should accept the reservation on there. And if you send the reservation document to the client, you can ask them to accept the documents. So Mr. Tim would come here and accept the reservations that you've made. They're accepting the flights, all the services that you've put on the documents, and they can actually sign this document electronically on there. What that does is it changes that status to yes and puts a timestamp on when the document has accepted your terms and conditions and the reservation itself. Correct. Just gives you assurance and protecting your business on there. Okay. I'll quickly touch on doing the cancellation of a reservation. I'm just going to do cancellation of reservation. You can see that it changed to cancel the reservation. And now you can actually access that cancelled reservation under cancelled reservations. If you want to view that document, you can see it appears here. Our reservations is number 10, right? It is cancelled. Say for whatsoever reason that Mr. Tim says, "Oh, I cancelled my reservation, but please can you restate my reservation?" You cannot restate the same number, but however, you can copy it to a new reservation. So it copies all the relevant details. You can see that the reservation 11 now appears with all the details that you put and the passengers that you had. So, but that would be under a new reservation number. That's how you can quickly copy from a reservation, right? That was the long way of doing a reservation, right? As you can see here under reservations on the templates tab, there is a few templates that we have here of bookings that have been done before already. The one we just did was this one of 2 sleeper units with flights. So there's a template. New client comes or phones on you to create a reservation, which is pretty much similar, or it's a set departure that you want to do. You can simply come to making a new reservation, right? So you want to make a reservation, and let's try and find another customer. Say Mr. Thomas Andrews comes, wants that, and we are not creating this from blank, but now we are using an existing template which already has services. For this one, I'm going to choose this one, flights and the cabin cruise and the drinks package that we have there. It can be hotel, it can be anything that you've already booked, and you can continue on that, right? For an existing customer, Mr. Thomas Andrew for reservation number 12, that's the total price, and it has put all the services that are served as a template, as a product, right? You just need to come through, update your passengers' details with new details, make new notes for the reservation, and so forth and so forth. But the important thing is for each of these services that you've put, they are already put already. So you don't have to go through the trouble of putting all these things again, as I've shown you on the long way of creating a quotation on there. So I've shown you the short, quick way now, and you can pretty much do the same things that you've done on there. You can preview your invoice document, you can preview the invoice vouchers. The new client can be able to make payments. You can load the payments through here, and that's the quick way of actually doing so. You can actually do a reservation in a flash, in a moment, and you can be able to send the documents to the client. In case you just want to send that particular document only to the client, you are able to send that only to the client. In terms of finding your documents within the platform, there's multiple ways of doing it. If you go under the reservations, you can actually see your documents here, and you can actually query your reservation numbers on this platform, and then you can filter for whatever document that you need to access. You click on the pencil and you access that reservation, and you can work on that reservation, and you can actually maneuver through the system likewise. Okay. I hope this has been a bit more informative in terms of making the reservation itself, which is the most important thing. And I hope I've helped in your understanding of that. Thank you.